We Honor Marriage Word of the Week. I am Yvonne Amos. This is my husband George Amos, and we are just excited to share with you our hearts about divorce-proofing your marriage. This is week 3, and we're going to talk to you today about flexibility. But before we do that, we want to catch you new viewers up with what we spoke about on covenant.
Week number 1, we spoke on covenant, and covenant, we talked about a covenant relationship with God. The key that I think we discussed for you and I is to commit yourselves to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. And trust. Lesson number 2, we dealt with trust.
Before you could trust, you have to establish a covenant relationship with God, because oftentimes we trust our spouse and then we have failed expectations, or sometimes they mismanage our trust with them.
That's right.
And so, as not to lose hope and faith in your marriage, you have to have a mediation in your marriage, and we chose the Lordship of Jesus Christ.
That's right.
And so, putting your faith and your trust
in God is the key for lesson number 2.
And so, lesson number 3, we're going to share with you our hearts on flexibility.
Flexible, learning how to be flexible. As you can see, my wife is flexible and easygoing, and me, I'm tight and rigid and tense. So
how can you see that on the?
You think they can see that?
Yes, honey, I think they can see that.
Well, I wasn't one to be flexible when we first got married. I'm learning over the years to be flexible, but that was not my forte when we first got married.
No. Yes, honey, I don't think that you were flexible. I think you were very rigid when we got married, uptight. And I think that God sent me into your life to help you understand flexibility.
Well, has it helped?
Has it?
Well, I'm learning over the years to be flexible.
Yes, you are. You're doing a good job at it. I think that when you're getting married, sometimes that you marry the opposite of what you are.
That's right.
And you're not able to see the difference until you're in close relationship. And when we talk about marriage, we're talking about a covenant. Most marriages have contracts. And when we're talking about marriage, covenant. And so when you are married and you show up different or annoying to your spouse, you can't just run away. You kind of have to learn how to deal with it. And so us learning how to deal with the differences in each other has caused us to have a compromise.
Yeah, I had no idea when my wife and I first got married that God was going to use her to help change me into the image of Christ. And that's, over the years, has helped me learn how to be flexible, somewhat flexible and not so controlling.
So what we want you to go away with today with flexibility is that we have to be all things to all people, just as Christ was in the earth. And being all things to all people is not necessarily you changing, but you are really dwelling with each other according to understanding. That I'm not so much seeking to be understood these days, but that I'm trying to understand why George is being rigid, when he's being rigid, and really, do you have the ability to be flexible? But I'm no longer annoyed by your inflexibility.
Yeah, I just didn't know you had my portion to help me be flexible. So with you being who you are, God has used that to help me learn more and more how to be flexible.
And I even think that it ties in with trust. I think that over the years you've learned to trust my inflexibility or my flexibility to your being rigid. Because if you did not have the trust in God for me to be the wife that God chose for you, that's the portion that you need from me.
But and I think it all stems back to from the beginning.
What?
That my covenant relationship with Jesus Christ has helped me learn how to be flexible.
Right. So before we leave you this week, we'd like to leave a tip with you today.
A tip. I've got a tip. Be like a rubber band. Why? A rubber band is not doing its job until it's being stretched. That's being flexible. Follow us again on We Honor Marriage and Twitter at We Honor Marriage and Facebook. Follow us.
So I'd like for you to join me next week as we talk about lesson number 4, communication.
Communication. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.